A warm welcome to this Rule the Waves 3 Beta 46 update to the game. And a welcome back to me, because I've survived the 8 weeks that my 3-week building program for my ground floor and kitchen, and I have moved back into my study and I'm still shifting things around, but I wanted to get back and making stuff and, my normal life again. Beta 43 looks a really interesting one. They've focused primarily on officers. So that was something that was introduced a few updates ago, and I think they've, tweaked it here and there, and I think they're now happy with where they've got to after a lot of really good feedback from us players. The original intention was that officers would provide some extra flavour and variation and excitement in the game, somebody that you could attach to, and it was intended to reflect the uncertainty of what admirals were really going to be like, or captains, in terms of their admin skills and their leadership skills. And they've now focused that to revealing it primarily when a crisis, also known as a battle, actually arrives. So we will normally see promotion by seniority, good old Buggins' turn. And, that is the normal way in which officers do, progress up the ladder. If they get significant battle experience, that will count, and they will likely get wartime promotions as well, which feels very solid and a good idea. And their abilities may influence to a lesser extent if they have a good reputation in something or other. But we won't have to go around chasing the brilliant or the very good or the good or even just the average commanders anymore. If we want to interfere in officer selection, which is always a contentious thing in real life, it will cost you, as the Grand Admiral or the First Sea Lord or the Chief of Naval Operations or whatever you wish to call yourself, it will cost you some political prestige to do that. So the changes we're going to see is that in peacetime, ability is much less likely to be seen. And mostly abilities will be revealed during wartime. You can improve officers' abilities by having a fleet exercise. So fleet exercises are always useful if you're heavily into mothballing or even reserve fleets. Your crew quality goes, deep down. And fleet exercises have always been a way to raise that up a notch, which is super useful. Now a fleet office exercise will also improve your officers' ability to command their divisions and command their ships as well. The Naval Academy, if you choose to have one, will also increase your officer quality and slightly increase the officers having their abilities revealed. But, I wouldn't hold your breath necessarily. And the whole problematic little gamey system where people were getting rid of all the ships in a division and just putting an incompetent or below average commander there, they're getting around this by no longer having a prestige quality penalty on removing an admiral or a captain from a division. Instead, it's the ships and the division efficiency that will go down. And if you think about it, that makes sense. If you've been in a division where you have trained and sailed with a group of ships for a long time, you know them, the officers know them, they become a tight-knit formation. If you then disperse those ships with other divisions, their quality will go down, and the division that they're joining, their quality will go down until they've had a time to familiarise themselves and train together again. When you're playing officers, if you just set it to auto-assign, it's now going to just auto-assign. It's going to do it immediately. So there's not going to be this thing where at the end of the turn, you could tweak a few prestige-free opportunities to fill some free slots, because there's not going to be any free slots at the end of the turn, which I think is actually a great thing. I mean, filling those slots was never an exciting part of the game. If you have a bad performance in a battle, either as a division commander or as a ship commander, you will be offered a prestige-free opportunity to dismiss those officers, which I think is great. That feels like a really legitimate thing that you should be able to do as the head of the Navy. If the officers fight a battle and do okay, then it will improve their own officer statistics. And all of this is intended to discourage micromanagement, which I think is a good thing. Other changes sneaked in with this Beta 46 is a new notification. It will tell you when a new largest ship in the world has been built, presumably by other navies. Obviously, if you've done it yourself, you'd know yourself. The number of air-to-surface missiles on jet attack and heavy jet fighters has been increased to 2 in order to separate out their abilities from light jets and other aircraft. Jet production has been slightly raised because advanced playtesting has shown that it's been a little bit low. The USA and Spain are now not going to be hereditary enemies. I think it was found that everybody was channeled into an automatic war between America and Spain, and that's not really within the spirit of the game. It certainly may arise, but it's not a given now. Rebuilt ships, just tidying up their names. They're not going to have every single time that they've been rebuilt in a tedious way. It's just going to be the last year. And then finally, the preferences screen is going to be added to the opening screen where you can load an existing game or create a new game. So just to make that a little bit easier. And that's it for Beta 46. It's probably not Beta anymore because Beta was out in the beginning of May, so it's a month later. So you probably already have it. And I think it's an interesting extra to the game and an impressive commitment from Frederick, the developer, and the rest of the team to keeping on improving this excellent game. Next up for me, I'm going to be dusting off my battle as Germany against Great Britain and France and seeing the concluding phases of that war. At the moment, it's very equal. I've done well, I feel, but with France joining, that's tipped the balance again, so I'm having to attrit that fleet down again. But I'm pretty confident that's going to be okay. It's been a couple of months, so I'm going to take a few days to dust it off and look at it with a fresh pair of eyes. So please join me for that. Bye for now, and thanks for watching.